Banter. It was banter. Banter. Banter.
This could be the greatest
Banter.
of our life. I'm loving
Banter.
instead.
Okay, welcome to the first episode. As you can see, I've got myself a little cab now. The Banter bus was a little bit too big for me to drive. It was hard to get enough people on it. But the Banter cab is finally here. And as you can see, we're currently stuck in traffic in the middle of London. It looks like Zindurn's come for a trip. Zindurn alongside me. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, Hindu. How are you doing? Pretty shitty traffic, though.
Yeah, it is shitty traffic. I mean, we've got a bus and there's garbage trucks pulling up on the side as well. It's a bit of an issue today. If you don't know Zindurn plays for the Night's Watch, recently qualified for the SPL above the boys of Spicy Waffles, who most people tip to make it through there. Zindurn, how did those games go for you?
It went pretty well. We started out really well. We 2-0'd them, and then there was some issues in Game 3 and 4, but in the end, in Game 5, everything kind of came together, and we ended up beating them pretty easily in the 5th game.
What was the issues in Game 4 and 5 then? Talk me through them, because I say 3 and 4, because obviously you were really far ahead, you'd done really well the first 2 games, you were very dominant, and then all of a sudden Spicy Waffles just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, who the fuck invades from Bracken? Please! Game 3 and 4, it was mainly because we were really frustrated. You didn't see this, but from the not on the front page of things, we actually had to wait 40 minutes for Game 3 to start, just because they were complaining about lag, and we didn't have anything on our side. We all had perfect ping, and a lot of our players live in similar locations as their players. So I mean, we didn't really think it was at high-risk issue, but they kept spending time to investigate, and it was really frustrating on our part.
Right, it's one of those things. I mean, I guess, with the ISP being an issue, I mean, I know Bushy had ping issues. We saw a couple of tweets going out afterwards as well. A
couple might be understating it.
A couple, yeah, there was a few. But, I mean, to be honest, it's allowed to be that way, when you go out that way. So, I mean, about the qualification process, you guys seem so upset about the qualifiers. Let's talk about that. Because, before you won these games, you guys were very vocal on Twitter and Reddit about the fact that you weren't happy about how the format went.
Yeah, we were really disappointed with the way the format was being run, in terms of single elimination. I get the whole seeding thing needs to matter, but to me, the only thing the seeding really needs to matter is if you get a chance to qualify or not. And then after that, it was just single elimination, which only ensures the best of the 2 teams playing make it into the SPL, not the best teams in the relegation make it into SPL.
Now, when I take that point, and I'm going to say, you were the only team that complained. Is it because you did not think you were good enough against Spicy Waffles? Did you expect to lose? Is that what you're telling me?
We were the only team that was as vocal as we were, and no, we did expect to win, which we did.
On paper, when I look at it, and I'm like, all right, Spicy Waffles and Night's Watch is going to be the closest game of the whole games, in my opinion, and yet you were the only ones with the vocal, which says to me, and it'll say to a lot of people, that you guys were just scared. You expected to lose.
We didn't expect to lose, but of course, it was a hard matchup for both, I would say, but we were never really scared. We were actually pretty eager to play them. But people like Eager, people like the High Five, and other people in the relegations complained on Twitter. They weren't really vocal on Reddit. And I know actually the manager from Spicy Waffles also supported me on the Reddit post. So there was a lot of support for the Reddit post. A lot of people didn't understand it, but we weren't scared, and we did beat them. And honestly, it should have been a 3-0, but we kind of fucked up in Game 3.
Well, yeah, the issues. Yeah, I mean, obviously as well. Have you had a little look at the next Challenger Cup that's going to be coming up with this season and the sort of changes we've been making there? Have you had a chance to look through that and got an opinion on that at all?
Yeah, I'm really happy with the format. It's actually really fair now, and people get to play a round robin as well as the single elimination afterwards, after the round robin, which ensures the seedings and all that jazz. I've taken an initial look at it. I haven't looked at it too closely, but from what I've seen, I really like the format.
Yeah, from what it is, basically, is the top 8 teams from the Cup format will qualify to a round-robin stage where they'll play each team in their group once. The seeding, I'm pretty sure, is going to be odds and evens, so odds all in Group 1 and evens all in Group B. They'll all play each other once per week, And so over 2 weeks, they'll play each other twice, basically.
Yeah.
In that format, and then the top 2 teams from each of those groups will then move on to face off in the semi-finals, which will be then the chance for a best of 5 in to get in the shot for the Pro League in the finals. So, I mean, that format does that feel a little bit better? To be honest, it's kind of very similar because it's still a best of 5.
It is, but there's a round robin leading up to it where everyone plays each other twice. So you get the best teams of those like into the semifinals competing for the best of 5.
No,
so at least there's like an initial elimination.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the plan on our front, is to try and make it as fair as possible, but also listen to the community at the same time while going forward. We're still doing very similar things to what we did last season as well. So, anyway, talk to me about Night's Watch. I mean, you've got a team, you've been together for pretty much the start of the Challenger Cup this season. You got together just before the Challenger Cup.
we started scrimming 2 nights before, yeah.
Yeah, about 2 nights before, and then, like, you've got currently Moex in the AD carry role, the Hunter position. You've got Wolf of Elo Street in the support, Carino in mid lane, formerly of Coast. Obviously, we know Moex was formerly of Mortality. Pretty big name there. And then, obviously, one of the biggest names, honestly, on that team, in my opinion, is Enku in the solo lane, coming back out of retirement when he stated it's time to become a doctor, and now he's become the doctor of solo lane again.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have Enku back, and I really love to play with him, which is, like, he's a really, really strong player, and he always has been. So I was really excited when he accepted our offer. Apparently, medicine studies didn't take quite as long as he expected them to, so he actually has time to scrim. There are some times where he can't scrim during the evenings because he has to attend school, but like, we have a pretty good scrim schedule with him.
Well, with your team anyway, who's the shot caller on the team? Because that's one thing a lot of people don't ever understand is, like, who shot calls on the team? Who's the leader? Does it change throughout, or?
Yes, it actually does. We have an early game shot call, early to mid game, and for objectives, which is me. I call the early goal furies. I call the early fights, early rotations. And we have like objectives later on once the solo lane becomes moot, which is Enku. He calls the tower pushes and the fire giants. So it kind of swaps from me to Enku like over the duration of a game. Mm-hmm. So that's how the shot caller situation.
Does the whole team talk? Because I've met Moex in person. I've seen him at LAN. He's normally very, very quiet. Is he more talkative on the team now, or is he still the quiet little nasty Terminator?
He's still the most quiet one. But as we've gone on, he's becoming a lot more vocal recently, and like we've been practicing with him, like forcing him to speak more and forcing him to talk more with us, which is nice. Like, he actually talks a lot more now than he did to start with. Yeah. Which isn't really a hard task, considering he didn't really talk at all when we began. So now he actually says something. But, we all talk. Yeah.
Well, talk to me, one other person really interesting, because obviously we've seen NQ before, we've heard of Carino, we've seen him on Coast, he did very well there in the mid lane, obviously Moex as well. The one name that we've not really seen much of is Wolf of Elo Street in the support role. How is he as a player? Because like he's one that's kind of appeared on the scene, he was potentially on Dignitas at one stage, and now he's with you guys. How is Wolf of Elo Street? Because he's one of the unknowns to an extent.
I mean, he's pretty shit, honestly. Like, he always fails. I mean, sorry, I don't really mean that.
Banter! It's okay, you're the banter camp. That's allowed.
Yeah,
That's allowed.
exactly.
We're the banter camp.
When we started out, Wolf was pretty weak, honestly. It was Moex who wanted him, but like as we've gone on, he's becoming a lot stronger as a player and like with the team as a whole. It really helps when he learned to take criticism, which was an issue to begin with, but it isn't now. As a player now, I mean, he's very mechanically strong. We have a few things to work on still, but you know, we're getting there. The dream is real.
So everyone's gelling in the team well. There's no real issues there, or we're not looking at any replacements anytime soon.
Oh no, not at all. Actually, Wolf at some point wanted to leave, but we told him to shut the fuck up, and you know, like we're not.
Why do you want to leave?
He felt like he did poorly, and he didn't have enough time to scrim because of work. Like he had enough time to scrim, but he didn't have enough time to practice outside of it, and he felt like he wasn't contributing. And then we just told him to shut the fuck up, and then you know. He shut the fuck up.
He shut the fuck up and learned to play and just dealt with it. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
and then we got into his bill.
Now you're in the Pro League. First game's going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks, as you all know. And one thing I want to know is, what is your idea for the Night's Watch going forward? Are we looking to survive? Are we looking for top 2? Are we looking to get relegated? Obviously we're not, but you know, I have to say that's like, what is the game plan? You know, what is the game plan with you guys this season? Is it just to establish yourselves, or is it something more?
Qualify for LAN.
That's a big step. That's a big step to try and qualify for LAN.
It is, and we're not. Of course, we're not sure we're gonna get there. Like, there's a lot of potentially really scary teams, but we think we can beat them, and like we hope we can show we can.
I mean, at the time of saying this, by the way, this broadcast and this recording was actually done just before the Epsilon versus the Broncos game, so we still don't know who that last team that's going to be in the Pro League is going to be. Thoughts on that one just beforehand? You can quote it now because it'd be great.
I think I'm like, in case of DDoS.
In case of DDoS.
if it's not DDoS, it's gonna be Epsilon. Like, they are so ridiculously strong at the moment. I think they'll be top of the Pro League once they make it here. I definitely think they'll make it in.
A lot of teams have discussed that as well. So if we say, you're going to say Epsilon's going to make it through, well, what we'll do is we'll class Epsilon as being in the Pro League then for the rest of this little broadcast here, and I want to see your expectations of who you think is going to be top 3 this season in the Pro League in the EU.
I'm going to say 4 teams because I want to add us as well.
Nope, you can only have 3. Only have 3. No changing rules, only have 3.
Damn.
Banter. I want to hear Banter. Come on, let's go.
Us, Fnatic, and Epsilon.
You, Fnatic, and Epsilon. Wow. So no Trig?
I think Trig has some definite weaknesses that a lot of teams are starting to exploit, and I think that's why they went 0-5 in the Spring LAN.
When I elaborate on those supposed weaknesses?
Honestly, I think if you shut down Sailor early, I don't think he does much. I think that's their main weakness at the moment.
Well, we'll see if you can follow through with that in your games. That'd be
hopefully. If we get completely dumpstered, I will take that shit back in space.
That's the issue with the Banter Cam. You step into it, and you could end up saying something you regret later on. The other teams had London Conspiracy. You not got high hopes for them?
I don't think they'll make it to the top. I think they're a good team, but I don't think they'll.
Dignitas?
I think they'll be bottom 2.
Well, I was going to say about the bottom 2. You've mentioned one now. Who's the other one you think is going to be bottom 2 then?
Upcoming Stars.
Upcoming Stars?
I think both Dignitas and Upcoming Stars had some really weak showings in the relegations. And I think Dignitas was very lucky that Archangel had an issue with his smite, because they were in deep shit in their game 3.
They were in a very, very rough spot there. Do you think that was actually the issue though, honestly, or was it just not necessarily they didn't expect the competition to be as strong? Do you reckon that was the issue, or was it just they didn't perform?
I don't think they performed with as many Krakens Shadow Nightmare missed.
That's true. You need to miss a couple in that first.
Yeah, that was quite the game to watch. And like, you see the greatest game of all time, the one with Archangel killing off Frostiak.
Yeah, I think everyone's seen that GIF.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually Frizzy killing Frostiak because he pulls the goal through with his 2 and then dashes out and resets it to Frostiak.
I think what it was, Frosty also hit the goal Fury in the back when he was trying to pull it on purpose to get Alagny to get the kill. Yeah. I think it was a bit of a misplay from the whole team there, Dignitas. So you actually expect Dignitas and Upcoming Stars to be bottom 2? Upcoming Stars, we just saw yesterday play off against... I've forgotten the names already. I should know this. Elo Fishers, of course. Elo Fishers. That game, that was surprisingly close. It went best of 5.
Yeah, and that's why I think they'll be bottom 2. Like, with the showing they had yesterday against not one of the teams I would pick as the strongest. I based it off the scrim breaker we have them, which is like 30-3. Mm-hmm. So I think if they struggle with Yellowfishes, I think they'll struggle in the Pro League.
Well, we'll see with that one going forward as well to see if they can actually stand that. The games now in the Pro League, they're going to be best of 2s. How are you feeling about that this season? With it being best of 2s or best of 3? I believe it's going to be best of 2s now, yeah, so it's going to be 2. You're going to play each other twice each time you play instead of like this best of 3 scenario where one team...
so it's just one game and then,
I think you play each other twice, but you'll play when you actually play against each other. It's 2 games instead of 3, because it was 3 games last time round, and they're making it to 2 now. Just to first of all make sure that everybody has the same amount of games, because obviously if they go best of 3, some games have if they go best of 3 and one game goes 2-0, there's teams that are getting better statistics because they're playing more games, and along the way with that as well. Is to make sure we can get more games in for you as well. That's why we can extend the league bigger and keep it over the same period of time. So
I was actually confused when I saw the season tickets, but that clears it up.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been a bit confused about that. It is going to be like 2 games each time when they play against each other. It's just to make sure, it's 2 games.
So it's going to be based on just straight up wins for who qualifies for LAN now?
Pretty much. I mean, it's not going to be 2 1s and 2 1s everywhere and then 2 0s in some places too. So it's always going to be the best of exactly the same amount of games too, which is a good thing in the league, not to have one going a bit further forward. Last thing to really talk about, though, looking forward, I'm going to go very, very far away here. I'm going to look towards Worlds now. Right, Worlds is a way off right now. At the time of recording this, we're in May, and I had to actually check my date then to make sure I said the right month. But yeah, we're in May right now. Worlds is going to be coming round sooner before we can expect it. Who do you think is going to shine through this time at Worlds? Like, is there any regions that you think, we need to watch out for these this time?
I mean, I won't say a specific team, but of course, Europe will win the second World Championships. We will have our revenge.
Well, I hope we do, because like I can't handle the NA banter anymore. Of like we never win anything.
Right? We
you know?
need to win.
It's painful. It's
Yeah,
brutal.
we haven't won a multi-regional since launch. It kind of sucks.
So are you? I mean, are you? What about China at all? There's a lot of talk about China being a potentially big boy this time round.
I mean, they didn't have a lot of practice last time, but I'm not too worried about China, honestly.
Any particular reason? Like,
I mean, this is a bit far-fetched argument here, but Smite is a very FPS-oriented MOBA, and if you look at FPS as a genre, you see it's more the Westerners with maybe faster reaction times or whatever the reason they're better at it, dominating the scene. And if we take it over to Smite, I think it's gonna be either even or in our favor.
I understand.
It's less just straight up strategic, which is why they dominate StarCraft and League of Legends, where it's less of landing skills, but more like where are you at this time?
Positioning and
positioning.
Yeah.
So I think NA and EU will still be the top regions for the next.
Brazil, Oceania. Heard anything about those at all?
I've heard about them, but I think with as small as their scenes are and as little a competition they have there, I don't think there will be an issue. Because the thing with NA and EU, we've had a lot of time to grow our scenes, and we have a lot of competition in our scenes, which pushes ourselves to be, stronger.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, talk about strength as well. I feel like after the last LAN we just had, where AFK were seen as like the third, fourth seeded team in North America, come out on top. I mean, you can't discredit NA going forward to Worlds.
Oh, no.
Do you think they're going to still be about? They're going to give.
Of course,
EU
I think
a
they're
good run?
going to. Yeah, I think they're. If EU isn't going to win, then NA, of course, is. I don't think it's going to be any other region at all.
I see. That makes some sense with it as well. So, I mean, I'm just looking at the traffic now. It looks like we're going to be on the move shortly, and then we'll get you to your destination shortly. The studio is on its way. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give to any of your fans or your fellow players or sponsors? Oh, sponsors! Have we got any sponsors? Little tip.
We're looking at a few different ones, but nothing definite yet.
We need to keep the name. No. We need to keep the name.
I'm not coming.
We've got to say it's a Night's Watch. We've got to say it's a Night's Watch, because like I just want to say the night now that the watch has ended. We've got to say it every single time.
Yeah, we can say that once we get a sponsor.
Exactly. It's like that's a shame.
Oh yeah. Shout outs to all the fans, all who watch us, and all who enjoy watching us play, and shout outs to my amazing team, with the exception of Wolf, who's a shitter.
Poor Wolf.
Yeah, poor Wolf. He never gets any credit.
Yeah, he might not get credit, but at least he doesn't mess up with the fire giant like Moex does. If you've not seen that GIF, you should check that one out too.
We made that GIF.
So, with that said, Zindurn, I'm going to let you go now. It's time to pay up and smile, as the Banter Cab is going to be moving on to its next destination to pick up the next pro player. We'll be back with more from the Banter Cab in the future. Stay tuned for that. If you do enjoy the Banter Cab, don't forget to leave a follow and subscribe for more of this content going forwards.